Alright, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 2, Watanagashi. Alright, let's get back into it. As soon as I got home, I tossed aside my school bag and changed in a hurry. The effects of only having a light lunch were starting to show, as my stomach began to let out fickle growls. Alright, let's go, to Angel Mort! It's time to face the land of endless dessert. Preparations for battle are complete. Tally-ho! Angel Mort had decidedly different feel to it compared to yesterday. Dessert Festa today. Admittance by reservation only. Nonetheless, the front of the store was being swarmed by over a dozen young men. Judging by how they were looking upwards in jealousy instead of entering the store, they weren't invitees. Why would they gather here if they knew they couldn't get in? I found out the answer when I passed through the crowd and began to climb the steps to enter the restaurant. Are you a participant? Do you have a ticket? Yeah. Well, I was lucky. As soon as I said that, I was immediately mobbed. It was like being in the middle of a football scrum on a crowded train. What is going on? The reason was this. It wasn't just one ticket per person. One ticket could let up to 4 people inside. So it's like that, huh? Seems like I should have invited Rain and the others. Thanks for the tip. But I'll pretend I didn't hear that. With an uplifting smile, I turned around and ignored them. When I did, their arms all reached out at once, like the souls of the damned seeking succor. That ticket can admit up to 4 people. Please bring us with you. What selfish people. This was the only reason they were crowded in front of the restaurant. Dozens of wretched arms reached out from me like the teeth on a giant rake and grasped at the air. I was already climbing the stairs to the entrance. What a heartless dick! Grab him! This isn't something to joke about. I flew up the rest of the stairs and threw myself inside the restaurant. It was like I had entered a different world. The miserable throng of the damned hurled curses at me from the other side of the glass door. But inside of this completely soundproofed and air-conditioned restaurant, with the angelic smile of a waitress to welcome me, they were nothing more than a refreshing piece of scenery. I knew that I shouldn't laugh, but I began to let out a sinister cackle. Good afternoon. Welcome to Angel Mort's. Due to today's dessert festa, the restaurant is reserved for customers who won the draw. Could I ask for your name and ticket? I don't have a ticket, but I should be on the guest list. Mayabara. There it is! I'm sorry, but may I please have your full name? Keiichi Mayabara. My apologies for the inconvenience. You're here by special invitation, right? I'll show you to your seat. Please, this way. The mood inside the room was incredibly heated. The booths were packed to the brim. Men in their prime were stuffing their faces with dainty desserts that didn't suit them at all. It was a rather unnerving spectacle. Soon after I was shown to my seat, Shion arrived. Good afternoon. Welcome to Angel Mort. Hey Shion, thanks so much for today. I really appreciate it. You were a bit late, so I was getting worried. I'm really happy you came, though. It may have been because the other customers were around that her tone was less casual, but she was still capped off that welcome with her usual brilliant smile. As you can see, there's a lot of customers here today. I'm not sure I'll be able to take a break. Please, take your time and relax until I'm finished. When I'm done, let's go play somewhere, okay? Whispering just that last part in my ear, Shion winked and returned to the kitchen. Maybe it was because the mood in the restaurant was so heated, but Shion seemed a bit bolder. Even a small change in her mannerisms was enough to set my heart aflutter. Sorry to keep you waiting. While I was overwhelmed by the atmosphere inside the restaurant, orders from the new summer menu were carried out one after the other. Every single one was extravagantly huge. I get it. You can eat all of these amazing things for free. No wonder a ticket was worth its weight in gold. On top of that, all of it was plenty delicious. From dishes with general appeal to insane ones aimed at a specific audience, there were absolutely no gaps in their repertoire. No matter how you look at it, I don't think one person can eat this much. Well, let's just leave at that for now. It didn't feel relaxing in here at all. Probably because the fervor inside the restaurant was clearly abnormal. All the other booth seats were crammed with groups of 4. Sleazy men were gorging like pigs on cutely decorated desserts, and it wouldn't have been a surprise if they started licking the plates. It was more than a little unsettling. It piqued my interest, so I started listening in on their conversation, and what things I heard. Pants. Angel Mort Somo. Me? I bought my ticket for 70,000 on redacted auctions. I told's work that I was attending a relative's funeral. The uniforms here are the greatest. I wonder if the waitress would wipe it for me if I spilled some water in my pants right now. Meow. Right, meow. Meow, meow. I heard they're planning on selling Angel Mort figures. We'll have to pay heed at the next Wonder Festival. They sell used Angel Mort uniforms on the floor of redacted in Akiba. But they's cost 280,000. Just an absurd price. And more cost 80,000 when Broba closed down the going rate for theirs was 12,000. That's the price for used ones. Knockoffs are less than half of that. A knockoff from redacted is fine with me. I wonder if they'll start selling them. Then I'll put on my life-size figure I did buy off of redacted for several 100,000. If I could wake up every day to an angel from Angel, that'll really get my gears going. The words spilling out of their mouths were pretty much all incomprehensible jargon. But they still keenly conveyed that hidden behind them was an invisible aura of abnormality. Sorry to keep you waiting. The next dessert is Tropical Cinnamon Love Affair. Is something the matter? No. It's kind of different inside the restaurant today. Our restaurant is pretty famous in their circles. Well, we were aiming for that, so it's all well and good. But during the festas, there's something of more of a hardcore crowd. It can be a handful. The waitress informed me quietly with a wry smile. The customers seem rather riled up. It's almost like a pack of hyenas. Seems a lot of customers today came from unreasonably far away. Those types of people are fairly prone to losing their self-control, so it's a little scary. If you don't keep your guard up, something bad can happen. What did she mean by keep your guard up? At that moment, a large crash resounded through the room. I turned around, startled to see that a waitress had fallen down and spilled the order she was carrying right onto a customer. Wait, isn't that Shion? I'm so sorry. Your food is, Oh, what have you done? The jeans that I just bought at a certain specialty shop for a whole 1,800 yen are all sticky with frosting. What the hell is that? For somebody who just met with disaster, he seems awfully happy. How tragic. It seems that little Miss Waitress here will have to wipey it up from the bottom of her heart. The conversation suddenly veered off in an odd direction. Hey, what did he just say? Wipey. Did he want Shion to wipe him down? Right over that, obviously a bare intent, he was pitched over his crotch. But that is, wipey. Wipey. The wipey chant quickly spread throughout the room. Totally cornered, Shion went pale. She looked over to a more experienced waitress for help, but was only met with a head shaking out of pity. So Nozaki-san was tripped. Customers who do that purposely to get their clothes dirty have been out on the rise lately. So you're saying she was tripped? Then what just happened now wasn't an accident? It was on purpose. The regular girls are careful about it, but they definitely won't end up like that. But Sonozaki-san is only a seasonal hire, so she had her guard down. The customers today could easily pick up on that, so she's been the target since this morning. What's the manager doing? He should just kick those thugs out. We're in the service industry, so there's not much we can do about it. She laughed as she said that in a resigned tone. Shion trembled uncontrollably with a dishcloth in her hand as she turned bright red. The man who had been doused in frosting splayed out on the bench, putting the cream-covered tent over his crotch on full display. Still, mentally unprepared, her trembling hand inched forward, goaded on by the onlookers. Come, come, come! It is the time for the wipey-wipey! From my male point of view, it might have been a ridiculous spectacle I could just smile wryly at, but from a woman's point of view, this was obviously pure humiliation. Am I gonna get up and help her? Ooh. When I was trapped by those thugs and had been paralyzed with fear, Shion fearlessly stood up to them to save me. Still, as humiliating as it was, Shion was also partially to blame for this, and it wasn't as though her life was at stake, right? Even these guys, they were just gonna jeer at her in a bit of a lewd situation. It's not like they were gonna eat Shion alive or anything. It'd be alright if I just consoled her afterwards. Even I was scared, but Kei-chan was in trouble, so I had to be brave to do my best. When I, a man, was being assaulted by 3 thugs while paralyzed with fear, Shion saved me without a second thought. What about now? These sleazy, filthy degenerates were trying to pin the blame on Shion. This time, our roles were reversed. Hey, Keiichi Maebara. If you don't save her now, when will you be able to repay the debt you owe her? You scared, Keiichi Maebara? At that time, Shion, no, Mion, didn't even show a hint of hesitation. Then what about now? I'm not hesitating. Then what? If you're not hesitating, then why aren't you helping her? Now, resign yourself to your fates. Wahahaha! Shut up, you greasy fat ass. Get out of here before I get angry. I grasped Shion's shoulder firmly and pulled her behind me. Kei-chan! It seems you don't understand. Yonder waitress was the one who wet my pants. This is her punishment. The one who needs punishing is you! Enough with the empty words. If you're a man, talk with your fists. Thud! Smash! My body was lifted in the air like nothing. I was thrown right back into my own seat. This guy is strong. No matter how you look at it, athletic and this lardo aren't even the same area code. Hehehe. Many otaku are unexpectedly well versed in obscure martial arts. Don't be misunderestimating us. The man smirked, showing off his gum line. Kei-chan, are you okay? Damn it! How lame must I look right now? You were tripped, weren't you, Shion? They're the ones in the wrong here, so don't let them take advantage of you. That may be, but it was still my fault. Whoa! One more time. Let's do it! Snap! Thud! Crash! Don't you go thinking that this is enough to make me give up. One more time! Whack! Snub! Thunk! Oh, you're all talk. I'm not done yet! Rise, my will to fight. Meow! Not just running, I planted every one of my steps firmly as I closed the distance to the lard ball. Each time I ripped my foot off the floor, I could feel my burning spirit flare up from the point of impact. Everything slowed down like I was walking underwater. As I stepped forward, in that viscous flow of time, I calmly measured the gap between us. With our differences in height, reach was my ultimate advantage. There was an ever so tiny distance between us where only my punch would be able to reach. I unleashed my iron fist. I unleashed my iron fist of righteous anger, but it flew towards his face slowly like I was punching underwater. Reacting to that, with a smirk on his face, that fat so easily slipped inside my punch. I hadn't realized it until now, but in this mired time, I was able to observe his baffling counterattack with almost painful clarity. His arms slowly swung around in a large windmill motion, wrapped around my whiffed punch, and descended into an arc. That arm swung around like the arms of a clock and came into contact with my head, twisting my upper body around. Dragging my head along, he followed through with another rotation. This time, he rotated his entire body like a top, followed by another rotation. Combining defense and offense, it was a brilliant counter. That's right, 3 times. I was thrown after the rotations, I think. In this viscous region of time, I was unable to struggle, and I could only wait dumbstruck until the moment I was thrown. The moment I was, that sluggish temporal anomaly abruptly ended. Crash! You lack training, young man. I was loath to admit it, but against somebody trained in martial arts, I couldn't win through force alone. After my consciousness faded in a wave of dizziness, when I came to, I was lying down on my own seat. Thankfully, you weren't injured. The more experienced waitress from before wiped my sweat from my brow with a towel. While she was doing that, a red-faced and teary-eyed Shion trudged over. Are you okay? Doing that all for my sake. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too, I wasn't much help. I've never won a fight before. No, you just trying to help made me happy. I'm not joking. It's just that I was thinking that it was lucky Kei-chan came here today. As she said that, she stuck her tongue out teasingly. She wiped off the whipped cream with the washcloth she was holding in her hands. So Nozaki-san, you can take your break now. You still have 1 or 2 hours left, don't you? No, it's fine. Even though it's just part-time, it's still a paying job. I want to work properly while I'm on the clock. So really, you don't have to worry about me. She couldn't even put up a brave front. I would never even think for a second that Mion could be that weak. This was Shion, and she had been harassed by some unreasonable riffraff. That was reality. Kei-chan, don't mind me. Please, eat as much dessert as you can. When we're done, we'll have you fill out a survey. Well then, I've got to get back to the floor. After some consoling words and a sympathetic smile to Shion, the other waitress started to head back to work. That's where I stopped her. Excuse me, could I borrow your phone? The phone? It's by the register. I'll show you where. I pulled a 10-yen coin from my wallet. This wasn't about saving face. My being a worthless coward was an unchangeable fact, but I could just cry myself to sleep about that later on tonight. No, now was not the time for tears. I had to fight. If I recall, 1 ticket is good for up to 4 people, right? Is it alright if I call over 3 more people? Yes, that's fine. For the time being, I'll write them down on the guest list. Could I have their names? I turned around and glared at the greasy hooligan who subjected Shion to that humiliation. There are 3 things that aren't working in your favor today, punk. The first is that I owe Shion. The second is that I'm a man who's not afraid to throw away his pride to win. And the third is that we're the most powerful club members in history. Please add Reina Ryugu, Satoko Huju, and Rika Furude to the guest list. Understood, I'll do that. All the best and most powerful club members join the fray. They can bring down 1,000 foes. You fat asses. Prepare to meet your maker. This is a nice restaurant. How the uniforms are cute. Reina wants to wear them too. How? On top of that, we're being treated to dessert. I'm deeply moved. Yeah, eat as much as you like. Don't worry about my share. Keiichi-san is enough with the charades. Let's get to the point. Reina and Rika-chan put down their forks when Satoko broached the subject. After looking at them for a few moments, I pressed my forehead firmly into the table. I beg of you. I don't care if you make fun of how pathetic I am. Please, lend me your strength. The 3 of them seemed surprised by the sudden turn of events, but nevertheless listened to what I had to say without making fun of my usual behavior. What's the matter? Something happened, didn't it? Actually, Mion's younger sister, Shion, is working part-time at this restaurant. Ah, that little sister you're talking about, right? Could it be her? Could it? She resembles her. Resembles her. Resemble? That's just what Mion with her hair... That's just Mion with her hair down, isn't it? I didn't know what to say. If Keiichi-san says that's Shion, then that's Shion. They might be twins, but can they really look that much alike? They're called monozygotic twins. They really can look identical. Reina gave the most plausible explanation, so everybody else was convinced. Well then, do you believe me? I'll get to the point then. I recounted everything that had just happened. How Shion was targeted, how she was antagonized by the customers, and the humiliation that was forced upon her. Also, how incredibly pathetic I was. I included everything without trying to hide it. That's awful. Poor Shi-chan. However, for you to be unable to help her, there should be a limit to how unsightly you can be. There's nothing I can say to that. So Toko-chan, to admit you lost and seek help is a very difficult thing to do. Keiichi-kun chose to help Shi-chan rather than save his pride. So pathetic. Reina's follow-up stung a bit, but I could only be thankful that she understood. Satoko was calling me all sorts of names, but there was no malign intentions behind her words. Then, what should we do? Her voice was monotone, but there was a hint of resolve in her words. I replied to Rika-chan's suggestive silence, kind with my own quiet resolve. Well, I thought it would be something like that. It's a bit much for Keiichi-san to handle alone. Huh? Then, you'll help? Of course, Keiichi-kun. We'll be... crap. We'll help anybody who's being bullied. I remember when I was cornered by those thugs, what Shion had said about the strong feeling of solidarity in Hinamizawa really began to hit home. However, Keiichi Maebara, now is not the time to get choked up with cheers of gratitude. Now is the time to fight. Sorry, I owe you one. You tried your best but didn't stand a chance alone. How sad, how sad. Rika-chan gently pat my head for me, but there was no mindless pity in the palm of that hand. It was overflowing with the strong, dependable feeling of leave the rest to us. Mion can't join us due to various circumstances, so I'll temporarily be taking command. Our strategy will revolve around Shion's defense and the extermination of the enemy's combat capability. Who's the enemy? Are there a lot of them? From this point forward, anybody who messes with Shion shall be considered an enemy combatant. There are no rules of engagement. Compensation will be the dessert you just ate. Any questions? Everybody had already entered club mode, their eyes peering at the riffraff clamour around inside the restaurant like predators stalking their prey from the darkness. Rika-chan held up her hands. What is it, Rika-chan? Do we have to show mercy? Of course we don't have to. We have no need to show mercy to the rabble that would dare lay finger on Mion's little sister. Then, it's okay, Keiichi? Rika-chan was serious. She was really ready to pretty much murder someone. Ah, I'm counting on you, Rika-chan. I, Keiichi Maebara, shall assume all responsibility. Rout them! Ah ha 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 ha! Alrighty. Reina's gonna do her best too. Sorry. Please do. Keiichi-san, you don't have to be so tense. Well, just wait and see. By the time you finish that parfait, I'll have finished cleaning up too. Well then, everyone. Let's give it our all. Go for it. Yay! Yay! Thus, the most powerful warband the world had ever known, trained by Mion, began to move. I was the oldest, the only boy, and behaved like a leader. But when you consider our club activities, I was by far the most junior member. Individually, everyone besides me had terrifying combat capabilities. If all of them combined their strength to protect Shion, I couldn't even imagine. I was probably about to witness something terrible and awe-inspiring. Sonozaki-san, 5 deluxe parfaits for table 7. Ah, sure thing. Shion carried the order to the tables. For Shion to carry all 5 parfaits without wobbling took so much effort that she didn't have the breathing room to pay attention to her feet. Hehehe, comrades, here she comes yet again. This time we'll have her spill everything on my pants and have her wipey right down to my underwear. It was the same wipey scheme that had occurred just a short time earlier. This time, another one of them was trying it out for himself. The very depravity of these men was itself a full-out attack. Reina, this is Keiichi. Ambush them around tables 5 and 6. Reina, do you copy? The restaurant's uniforms, so cute. How? I want to take them home. Shion, her bottom swaying while carrying the parfaits, was being chased by an equally swaying Reina. She was supposed to be escorting Shion, but Reina was instead transfixed by the back of her uniform. From a normal person's point of view, it was probably like having a fox guard a hen house, but when it comes to Reina, things are different. Cute mode, 120% synchronization. We've won! When Reina's in that state, even the laws of physics don't apply. Shion's legs, unsteady and defenseless, were being targeted by those sleaze bags. Now, my comrades! Hail, mein Führer! Shining Lucifer of the Harami Mecca! A leg snaked out on to trip Shion's defenseless feet. Egads, 3 of them at once. Zap, zap, zap. Kya! Hua! It happened in an instant. The 3 fools writhed in pain as their legs bent at unnatural angles. Ugh! What is this? Madness! Reina teetered to view and gave them a warning. How? No mischief, okay? No means no. No! Reina's gonna be the one to take her home. This girl! What's with that strange technique? The human scum clenched at their bruised ankles as they passed out. That's our Reina-san. No matter how many times I see it, it's always frighteningly quick. Yeah, it's an unbreakable barrier. Anyone within a 2-meter radius who attacks Shion is completely obliterated by Reina. As Shion was making her rounds to the restaurant, there were people here and there collapsing with welts on their legs or hands. How? Keiichi-kun, this is Reina. There's nobody left that are bothered Shi-chan, so I'm gonna take her home now. Reina, this is Keiichi. Good work. Please continue the mission. Also, permission to take home denied. I repeat, permission to take home denied. Then I'll just look. How? I guess just looking is fine. That wouldn't prevent her from guarding Shion, so I guess it's okay. Anyway, thanks to this, I knew it had tried to mess with Shion. Anybody who was clutching at their arm or leg while they were writhing in agony was basically branded by their bruises. Currently, we have finished identifying all enemy forces. Proceeding to the next phase. Sotoko, this is Keiichi. What's your status? This is Sotoko. That's a rude way to ask. Keiichi-san, who exactly do you think I am? Sotoko was in the kitchen. She had spread open a sketch of the other restaurant on the counter, replete with ordered chits and their destinations, and was now sorting through freshly made desserts. Hey, what are you doing? Now, Sonozaki-san, it's alright, just leave it to her. More importantly, we're taking all these orders out at once, so I'm counting on you. The veteran waitress was briskly directing her juniors as the trays went out one after the other. All the desserts that had passed through Sotoko's hands were delivered at once. How? Lots of cute desserts are coming. How? I think you know this, but don't touch them. At least, if you still value your life. I know, but how? Certainly, they were all incredibly cute-looking desserts. They were all works of art that you could enjoy before even taking your first bite. However, since Sotoko had meddled with them, they were nothing more than an unpredictable danger. Blissfully ignorant of that fact were the men now suffering their fates. This is... Almost right away, they realized that something was wrong. Sotoko, what did you mix in there? It couldn't have been salt or Tabasco, right? My, what are you saying, Keiichi-san? You said no mercy. I might not look like it, but when I get down to business, I like to be very tough. Or very thorough. As she said that, she twirled her dubious file in her fingers before putting it away smartly into her pouch. Rika, this is Toko. The customers are moving. Escort duty is all yours. Leave it to me. Come to think of it, I didn't see Rika-chan anywhere. Where could she be lurking? Clatter, clatter. Several men stood up suddenly from their seats, surveying the restaurant for something. That restless fidgeting, and that look of relief when they found the single placard hanging from the ceiling. Written on that placard was the word, restroom. They began a mad rush in that direction. It wasn't just one or two people. All the people that were branded as the enemy were standing up from their seats while clutching at their stomachs. And with that, that's where we're going to end this episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!